Are you there, TJ?
I'm here, alive and well. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. I'm so good. Ready for Thanksgiving? Enjoying the day.
Yep. Well, let's talk about, so we had actually did a podcast and you were our guest, talking about love letters and should they be banned.
You're cutting
This,
in and out, Ben.
oh no.
You there? You're
Yeah,
cutting in and out on me.
is that better?
Yeah, so much better. Okay, let's
Okay.
go.
So Monica and I had did a Real Estate Fight Club podcast about love letters. And this was before they got officially banned in, I think it was Oregon, but you were the guest and you were like, I mean, it seems like a fair housing issue, it potentially, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely potential if not done correctly. Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like the state of Oregon, they heard you and they agreed. And they said, we're banning them. Yes.
I've changed the laws. Yeah.
But now it's all you, single-handedly, obviously.
Yeah.
But we read an article in Inman News, and just a little plug here, as a real estate agent, you need to get Inman News. Okay, end of plug. But so we read an article saying that there was a group that was saying they shouldn't be banned. I don't know. Let's talk about it a little bit.
Let's talk about it. So, my big thing, number one, is the idea of banning. It's all dumb. It's all way too over the top, in my opinion. It's not that big of a deal. That's my initial reaction.
But it can be.
Yeah. I mean, but everything can be, right?
Yes.
I think they've got to give us a little bit of trust and restraint that we're not dummies. And if you are a dummy,
you're funny.
You lose your license, right?
Okay, but you don't. I mean, the fact is you don't really ever lose your license. Nobody ever really does. But to your point, it's where does it end? So if you're banning these letters, which honestly I think they're stupid anyway, but if you're banning the letters, should you also, if the point of the ban is because you don't want identifying information that could potentially lead to the seller choosing some party over another because of a fair housing violation, shouldn't you take their names off of the contract?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's this is such a crazy slippery slope. If you look at someone's names, there's a good chance that you can gauge where they're from somewhere in their family, right? You can probably gauge potentially someone's race, potentially someone's religion. I mean, again, it's we can't control everything, right? We can try, but if you've got a crazy seller, what can you do? You can tell them, obviously, don't be insane, but people are insane.
Yeah. And part of it is we will not, I mean, you are not legally allowed to not accept a contract because of a fair housing violation. So don't do that. It's illegal.
Right. But who's doing that? Is anybody doing that?
I don't know.
That's where
How would you know? Because they're not accepting contracts.
Yeah. And I don't see the love letters, the ones that I've seen have never been anything that I could find a way to make it fair housing. I mean, maybe age, I'm trying to think, or familial status, maybe.
Families. Yeah. I've seen ones where they put a picture of the family and on the ones where for some sellers, these letters are actually very important for for a group of sellers. We'll call it 25% of the population, because they don't care about the money. What they care about is that somebody who loves this house as much as they do is going to go into the house. So I'm okay, maybe if I have a buyer, maybe we have one of these sellers. Let's put a picture of the dog. You know what I mean? Everybody loves dogs.
Who doesn't love dogs? Yeah.
Everybody loves dogs. But
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. Let me make this case though, because I have right now one of these sellers. I do. Okay. And I swear to you, I believe that she believes that the money doesn't matter. Now, we got an offer that was a lot more money, and all of a sudden the money mattered.
Right.
If it's a good enough offer, they'll sell it to Zillow again. I mean, it doesn't matter. You know,
yeah.
It's and that's the thing, these love letters, I think it's something that agents use to allow their clients to believe they're going the extra mile more than anything else.
It's like earnest money. Does it really matter?
Not in Ohio. We know that for a fact. And in Carolinas, it matters, doesn't it?
Well, that's true. And in Florida, they have like the double earnest money, but you know what I mean? Like that initial, I kind of agreed with you. I think like making it a law, like it is a slippery slope. Like it will never end. And at some point, like we do have to use some damn sense, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. And if we find ourselves in a situation where, as a group of real estate agents, that we're having to make all of these rules, then we need to take a look at ourselves and say, okay, who are we allowing to get licensed here that is causing these problems? Is it like this small number of people that is creating the problem for everybody? Well, then you don't punish everybody, right?
Correct. And like, even like when I look at it, if I thought about like the 10 biggest issues affecting realtors right now, this would not be on the list.
No, or like, affecting sellers' decisions.
Exactly. I completely
it's usually price, occupancy, other terms, like things like that. Like the letters are the least, I mean, they may be interested to read it, but like they're not like, oh, you know. But what if you have like competing offers? Okay. And one of the buyers like writes a letter. I mean, everything's the same, but this letter, I mean, that's happened before, maybe, where it's been real similar.
Yeah, that would be, I think, a place where it would matter. And then you also have to look like, as a listing agent, do you talk about this on the front end and say, hey, do you want these? Like these can sway decisions, or do we just say, hey, we don't deliver these after talking with the seller and making sure that's what they want? Because I would argue it's probably more of a detriment than a benefit to most sellers to even see these darn things.
To most sellers, but to most buyers, I don't know. If we think that it doesn't really affect, I think the only time it would affect necessarily is if the offers were competing, and let's say like one is like a homeowner and the other one's like an investor, but they have the same offer. And let's say the closing terms were the same or something like that. And you have a seller that's like, I really wanted to go to somebody who's going to love this house as much as me. Then unfortunately the investors they're going to be out.
Correct. Yeah. And you know, there's going to be situations like that. And like, as a buyer's agent, before this was, our MLS actually said like, guys, you probably shouldn't do that. And that was for me to say like, hey, I'm not going to do that right now. But I used to do it because I didn't think it could hurt. You know, that's where my mind went. I was like, it can't hurt. Like I'll put it if it makes the buyers feel better, to make sure that like their position is represented to the best of its ability. But I've never had a situation where I believe that it won. I don't believe that. Like it wasn't that great.
No, but what does win, if you're a buyer and you stalk those sellers on Facebook and you find mutual friends, and then, no, I'm just kidding. Don't do that either. Don't do that.
That's pretty good.
They do that too, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. People are crazy. And you know, I would do the same thing. Like I get it. Like, right, when you find the right one, like you'll do what you need to do. But you know, honestly, the easiest way to do it right is easy terms and high offer. Like let's just keep it simple, guys.
Call the listing agent, ask what the seller says they want, and write the contract up according to what the seller wants, and you're good to go.
You got it. I'm with you, Jen.
Boom, boom. Well, TJ, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, maybe they have a referral for you in Cincinnati, or they want to talk about EXP, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
It is 513-379-2000. And we are getting referrals from all over the country, which is freaking awesome. So thank you guys.
Who's moving to Ohio, man?
We got them, man. We got some coming from Southern Kentucky. We've got one coming up from Atlanta. So we got them coming in.
Wow. Yeah. Now is not the time to move to Ohio.
But telling everybody.
It's too cold. I'm moving out.
I don't blame you.
All right. Have a good one.
Thanks, Jen.
See you.